Hello and welcome to the FA Cup. My name is John Green. I'm the manager of the AFC Wimbledon Wimbly Womblys. Today we're taking on Cardiff City. And out of a show of respect to Cardiff City and their supporters, we put Cardiff City in blue, and the AFC Wimbledon Wimbly Womblys will be wearing their away yellow. Excuse me. That's actually what today's video is about. Seb Brown also wearing yellow, so we all matched today. That's nice. I want to talk about football, professional football in England, the differences between that and the American franchise sports system, and talk about what owners can and cannot do or should and should not do with the clubs that they buy, whether a football club ultimately belongs to its owner or ultimately belongs to its community, which is, of course, the central question. Is this guy's name really Ashley Burrowbridge? I mean, has there ever been a more English name than Burrowbridge? It's an important question, obviously, from the perspective of AFC Wimbledon supporters, because Wimbledon FC was taken away by bad owners in combination with, in my opinion, bad decisions by the English Football Association. But Cardiff City are a club with a long and storied history. They have always worn blue. In fact, if you watch Cardiff City games these days, it's completely surreal because almost every single person in the stands is wearing blue, and throughout the game they sing, "We'll always be blue, we'll always be blue, we're Cardiff City, we'll always be blue," and yet the players are playing in red. This is because their owner, Vincent Tan, who really is, for better or worse, a bit Bond villainy, their owner, Vincent Tan, has chosen to rebrand the club to try to make them appeal more to a global audience, especially an Asian audience, and he feels that red is a better color for doing that, and they should, they've rebranded everything about the club. But this idea of having your club's colors taken away from you, or your big swaths of your club's identity taken away from you, is it's very problematic. Now, from an owner's perspective, I guess you could say, like, well, I own the club and I can pretty much do whatever I want, which is basically what which is basically what Vincent Tan has said. He said, like, well, it's my decision, and there was even a Cardiff City supporter saying that to him, that will always be blue to him, and he responded by laughing and saying always be red. And I know that it's just he scores in the loo. He scores with his shoe. Green eggs and Sheringham, he just scored on you. Probably could have taken that one down an octave in retrospect. I was just so excited. This is world-class skill level, ladies and gentlemen. We're playing Cardiff City. They're no joke, but we're no joke either. We're still resting ball John Green, another John Green. They may come in for the second half. In fact, I think they likely will. But yeah, that's a good strong goal from Green Eggs and Sheringham. Nice opening moment for the Wimbly Womblys. And then look, suddenly more space. Why did you run past the ball? Who did you think it was for? Anyway, this has been a real, I think it's a lot of the reason. Now, Seb had it covered. Obviously, this has been a big issue in football with Hull. The owners want to change the name of the team from Hull City AFC to Hull Tigers, and it's going to become a bigger issue. And the reason it's different than it is in American sports is that, in a lot of ways, the team in European football, in a lot of ways, the teams really do belong to their communities, because you aren't guaranteed the way you are in the franchise system that we have in the U.S. to stay in the same league that you've always been in. If you're a Chicago Cubs fan, you know that the Cubs are going to be in Major League Baseball regardless. With a football team, the football team is made of its supporters, in the sense that if its supporters abandon the club or even lessen their support for the club itself suffers. And that's not as true. And that direct relationship isn't there. There's also the question of connection to community. I mean, I think certainly Baltimore Colts fans felt, and Cleveland Browns fans, other teams have felt hard done when their clubs have left in the franchise system. I don't want to dismiss those fans' experiences, but because there is this great tradition in English football, especially, and Welsh as well, of a team being truly, whether it's owned by its fans or not, truly being a product of its community. That was, you fouled me. You were naughty, and you should get a yellow card. You pushed me down from behind. It hurt my feelings, and I fell on the ball, and that made me uncomfortable. That hurts. That hurts. My solar plexus is aching now. And I think owners, it's hard. I know that it's hard because owners feel like, oh, I have bought a thing. But you haven't bought a thing. You've bought the right to be the caretaker for a thing for a while. And if that's not the role that you want, then you shouldn't buy a football club. You should buy a proper company. You know, you can rebrand Circuit City if you want. You can rebrand Noodles and Company, but you can't rebrand a football team because the brand doesn't belong to the owners, I would argue. Like the brand, the colors of the club, the idea of the club, the identity of the club belongs to its supporters. And no person, owner, player, manager, no person is bigger than that club. Because the club is made out of its community of supporters. That for me is the central idea of football. And I know that that's asking a lot of owners to respect it, but there are lots and lots and lots of owners who do. In fact, I think the majority oh God, hustle. Oh, everything worked out better than expected. I think the majority of owners in English football have a basic respect for that. But the only way that you can ensure it is by doing what AFC Wimbledon has done, the real-life AFC Wimbledon, but also we in the Wimbly community, we own the team. I am an owner of AFC Wimbledon. My children are owners of AFC Wimbledon. And the men and women who started the club more than a decade ago, started it with the idea that forever after, why are you guys complaining? You should be happy with each other. You played great. You're up 1-0 against Cardiff City in the FA Cup on world-class skill level. Calm down. Let's enjoy ourselves for a second. Good Lord. Oh, you know, sometimes, Meredith, I feel like there's not enough love, particularly when it comes to Sheringham and Strutton. They don't have enough love for their midfield. We don't score that goal. We don't score that goal without the support of our midfield. So, all right, we're bringing on John Green, and John Green arguably should have made more substitutions before the start of this game. Also going to bring on Les Moore. Scored a goal last game. This is going to be a real tough game for the Golden Child. It's going to be a long, hard Golden Child slog. No two ways about it. But he's going to do it, Meredith. He's going to pull it. He's going to pull through. He's only 9 years old. He can run for 90 minutes. So I think the reason I wanted to play Cardiff City in blue today, even though we almost always play in Wombly blue, and it's a weird thing for us to play in our away kit, is because I just don't think it's a legitimate choice. I don't think the owners should get to decide that stuff. And I think it's really bad for the club when they do. I think Cardiff, not all of the reason certainly, but a lot of the reason that Cardiff had such a difficult season this year in the Premier League is that there was a lot of friction between the club and its owners. We had this in Liverpool when the Americans, Hicks and Gillette, I think, were the owners of Liverpool Football Club because they didn't understand the club. They didn't have, they didn't understand who it mattered to and why, I guess. And if you don't understand that, it's like if you own a business and you have a deep failure to understand your customers. Ultimately, the people who make Cardiff's Football Club the community institution and the sporting institution that it is and has been are not the people who are going to support the club because you changed the colors to red. They're the people who supported the club in blue, and that's going to continue to be I think, to be the case. And I think ultimately this strategy will fail, just as I think it's going to fail to call Hull the Hull Tigers. That stuff has to happen authentically, and it has to happen from inside the fan community, or in my experience, it doesn't work. There's an analogy here in the world of online communities, I think, which is that, oh God, oh no, Seb! Oh, thank you, Seb. Thank you, Seb. Thank you, Seb. Let's take a look at it again. Seb Brown. That boy knows how to get down. He did it. Good job, Sebby. All right, we got to defend a corner kick here in the 64th minute. This is nervous stuff. Nice job. Good job. In online communities, I think you also have to, I think, you know, you have to lift up the best of what is made. Good job, Seb. But you have to let people make stuff. You have to kind of give people control over the community. That's scary to do because you're like, well, these are my viewers. Like, this is my community. But, like, you know, Wombly players are always best when they're named by you. The songs are always best when you come up with them. You know, the jokes are always best when they emerge in comments. That's true in Nerdfighteria as well. I think, like, Nerdfighteria only works because the word Nerdfighters itself was coined by Nerdfighters. The phrase "Don't forget to be awesome" was popularized by Nerdfighters. French the Llama, the Evil Baby Orphanage, so many other things in Nerdfighteria like came from. You know, they came from the community. They didn't come from, you know, directives on high that Hank and I, as the leaders of the community, had announced that we would now say "Don't forget to be awesome" all the time. You know, it was one among a million things that I said, and it was one that the community responded to. And I think, like, that's the only way that in my experience at least, that these communities can really grow and thrive, is when they're empowered to. The great thing about Wimbledon as a football club is that there's no intermediary between the fans and the ownership, because the fans are the ownership. Now, I'm sure that can be challenging too. It's challenging to have you know, a lot of people kind of trying to collectively run a football club. But, like, I think that it leads to the most. Maybe it doesn't lead to the best results on the field every year, but I think it leads to the most cohesive community, to the community that's the strongest, that, like, means something to people that they find useful and meaningful in their lives, and that's really I think that's like ultimately by far the coolest thing that any community can do, is you know, create meaning, create connections. In the case of Wimbledon, I mean, AFC Wimbledon raises lots of money for charity and does lots of community service work, and you know, relies a lot on volunteer help to make its things. Oh boy, we gave up a corner. I just said to make its things because I was so nervous. You know what I mean. Okay, come on, we can do this. Defend. Yes, good job. Go. Run it out. Go. Don't give up. Oh, it's a little nervous here at the end, friends. It's a little nervous. Oh, did I give up a corner kick for real, or did he take it out of bounds? No, schmurg. 90th minute. So that's what I think. That's why I think Cardiff City should always be blue. And that's why I'm so proud to play as AFC Wimbledon. Victors on Green Eggs and Sheringham's 14th minute goal. Wow. Really great game from Seb Brown. Vintage Seb Brown performance. But all of the Womblys playing in yellow showed today that we have courage and we make our opponents squat in shame. But that said, Cardiff City, you'll always be blue. Thanks for watching. Best wishes.